we are talking about the significance of mentors in our life. And in the previous video, we talked a little bit about how Paul was a mentor for Priscilla and Aquila and Ephesus. Yeah, thank you. And there, this couple found another guy who he was an expert on the Old Testament. Yeah. He knew a lot about Jesus, but everything that John the Baptist was preaching, he didn't know more than that. He knew that Jesus was the Messiah, that he came to save us and all that, but he needed to know more.
So I'm going to go ahead and read Acts 18, right? And we're going to look at verse 27. Actually, I'm sorry, verse 26. And it says, Priscilla and Aquila heard him preaching boldly in the synagogue. They took him aside and explained the way of God more accurately.
They were mentored by Paul himself.
Yeah.
Now they were doing the same with Apollos. They saw the potential in his life. They also saw and noticed the flaws.
Yeah.
And they say, let's correct this and let's concentrate on the potential this guy
he has, because he had the knowledge and he had the desire to get the message of Jesus out. So this couple helped him be more accurately in his message, so that he could be more effective. He could be more effective in the way of reaching the lost. And what we can see here is that what I love is that it says that they took him aside. And I think that's out of love to help him be like, okay, you know, we're noticing where you're at. We notice your passion, your desire. Let's help you. Let's help you be more intentional in your message, so that we can reach the
what
lost.
do you mean about they took him aside, and that was out of love?
I would say maybe, hey, come over for dinner, or let's go and have some coffee at Big B. You know, something that will create that intimacy or that relational, and guiding him. Maybe they present it, be like, you know, this is what Jesus did, and this is the way that it should be presented to the people, so that we can reach more. Yeah,
something that caught my attention is the same thing that Paul did with
Priscilla
and Aquila, they did with Apollos. And it was the way Jesus mentored the disciples.
It's the same.
The teachers in Jesus' time, they had like a classroom.
Yeah.
Some days we get together and we're gonna fill your head with information
and knowledge. Yeah.
But Jesus changed the way of discipleship. He called them to come and live with me, walk with me. Let's go together, and while we are going,
doing life.
Yes, doing life. I'm going to teach you. You're gonna look at me. You're gonna look at my life, how I act, how I talk, how I speak, everything, and you will be my disciple. And Paul did the same with this couple, and Priscilla and Aquila did the same with Apollos.
So they're replicating.
Yes, but now the Western Church, we went back to the teachers of Jesus' time. We had discipleship classes. I'm not talking against that. We need that. But we think that having like meetings in a building, that's all that we need. But it's more than that.
Yeah.
Real mentorship and real discipleship is living.
Walking a life.
Exactly.
A lifestyle. A lifestyle that, so they can see you. They can see your walk. They're going to be able to have a glimpse of moments where you're high, and then moments where you're low. And how do you exercise your faith?
So it's more about relationship, right?
It's relationship.
Yeah. And not just being in a classroom or in a church building, everybody looking at the front, and you can see the back of the head of the person
in front
of you. It's more than that, right? It's like that's like a 2D. A 2D, right?
What's
dimensional thing. It's more like a 3-dimensional.
Yeah, you gotta welcome people in your life, especially the ones you're mentoring.
Yes.
You gotta welcome them. You gotta let them see your life.
Yeah. So Apollos became a leader in Ephesus.
Yeah.
In chapter 19 of Acts, we find Paul. He came back to that city, and Apollos was preaching the gospel, and he had a group of people. He was mentoring those guys.
Yeah.
You can read Acts 19, 1 through 7, and it says that it was about 12 guys that Apollo had that he was mentoring. Yes, and they needed something else. Okay. And Paul, because he was an apostle, and apostles bring correction and bring more deeper understanding and revelation. He said, well, you need something else. You need to be baptized in the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And all of them got baptized in the Holy Spirit. But after that, Apollos became so influential. It looks like he went to Corinthus, and he was a leader there, maybe another apostle there in that city. And in 1 Corinthians 3:6, Paul is saying to the church there in Corinthus, he's saying, I planted the seed and Apollos watered it.
Yeah.
But Jesus is the one who, and we all know that Bible verse. And remember the story, you can read the whole chapter 3 of 1 Corinthians, and Paul is bringing correction there to the Corinthians because some of them were saying, I belong to Apollos, and others were saying, I belong to Paul, and others who thought they were more spiritual were saying, oh no, I belong to Jesus. So that was kind of immature for them. But I don't want to go there. What I want to highlight here is that Apollos became so influential.
Yeah.
He was like another Paul.
Yeah.
And for the church there. And all that started when Paul met Priscilla and Aquila. He was a real mentor in their life. He sent them, he empowered them, and Priscilla and Aquila did the same with Apollos. So we all are called to do that with other people. As soon as you notice somebody that the Lord is bringing to your life, look at
sphere of influence.
Yes, look at their potential, concentrate on that. You need to bring correction, maybe some with love in some areas, and empower them to go,
help them,
and fulfill their ministry
and trust that whatever God is doing in their life, you have to trust God to complete it, to finish it. So giving them that space for them to preach, giving them the space to prophesy, giving them the space to maybe open their home to do Bible studies. You have to trust God because people belong to God.
Exactly. If they become better than you, get happy.
Oh my goodness.
My father taught me how to play guitar, and I remember he always was telling me, you will be much better than me. And I am much better than him, so can you imagine how bad is he?
I think it's satisfying when you're mentoring and you see them develop, you see their growth. You're like, wow, God, that's amazing.
So real mentors
we'll celebrate that.
Yes, we'll celebrate
that. I think
that's it for now. God bless you.